Hi, and welcome to the Art of Spiritual Sleep. My name is Wendy Rosenthal, and I am your very happy and very excited co-host alongside Kabbalistic sleep and dream expert, Mordechay Balas. Mordechay, are you as happy and excited as I am today?
At least,
At
at
least.
least, Wendy.
That's good. That's good for everybody who's going to be listening. It's going to be a very great podcast today.
Yeah, we have a lot of great energy to share with you today.
Yes, we do. If for those of you who are joining us for the first time, the Art of Spiritual Sleep is an investigation, a deep investigation into sleep and dreams from the perspective of the ancient wisdom of Kabbalah. Now, Kabbalah is a vast ancient wisdom and has a lot of information about how the world works. And I bet you very few people think they would have as much information about sleep and dreams, but it in fact does. And the point to why it has a lot is because sleep and dreams are far more important than we even realize. And that's why we are here every single week. So welcome to you and welcome to all of our regular listeners and watchers. We're very happy to be here. This week, we are continuing on a series called Elite Sleep, ways that we can take all the things that we have learned over the last, I think, 40 some odd episodes and kind of take it and catapult it to the next level. Today, we're going to be talking about the gateway of the ears, and Mordechay is going to explain a little bit more about that. But before we get to Mordechay, I want to remind everybody that you definitely want to stick around until the very end of the show because we have two great features. The first of which is the language of dreams, where Mordechay gives you a sleep symbol of the week. So you have the ability to interpret your dreams in a better way, and also maybe those of those people around you. You can help them out as well. I know that many of you who have been listening are probably pretty much getting to be little mini experts, not full experts, but in mini experts anyway. And then we also have something to sleep on where Mordechay shares with you tips and exercises and workshops and meditations so that you can actually be in the practice of bettering your sleep and having more clear dreams, which elevates your day. All right, I think that's enough for me. Mordechay, tell us about the gateway of the ears and how to really develop our elite sleep.
So first of all, I want to acknowledge the efforts that we all making by us doing this together and everyone that is watching and listening, because really we see already a major shift in the world when it comes to increasing the awareness to sleep, increasing the awareness to dreams, increasing the importance of sleep and dreams. And it's very powerful because we already see lately there's been a documentary that was released just in the past year. It almost seems like they copied from us the content. And just before we were going now to air this beautiful episode, I got a notification from one of my friends and a student of the Kabbalah Center that there's a group of women that they're on the social media. There's a group of women that they claim to be having on a regular basis dreams of prophecy.
Wow.
So it looks like after our session today, I'll be connecting with this group because I know what they're doing to get to that place. It would be just interesting maybe to collaborate and maybe do something together. So there's always, it's like there's already things coming out there, you know, really, and it's just amazing. And I see the connection between this revelation that we're doing and the increasing of the awareness. So I just want to put it out there. Great job, everyone. Keep on going.
Yeah, because don't
Keep on
forget,
listening.
when you're sleeping better, you're impacting so many other people in the world without even realizing it,
Exactly.
you know?
Even if you're not sharing, this episode or this show, which we highly recommend, still by you improving your sleep, Wendy, you're absolutely right. you are creating a positive impact, and you are bringing humanity closer to the end of pain, the end of suffering, and the end of death by you improving your sleep.
Yeah,
So
I mean, honestly, just at the most basic level, we all know how we are when we don't have a good night's sleep and how that can lead to fights or short, temperedness, or, you just don't feel right. So when you're sleeping better, at a minimum, you sleep better, your relationships are better, you feel better, you're healthier. I mean, the ripple effect is quite huge. So
it's just awesome.
keep going for it.
That's why it's an art to have a spiritual
Exactly.
sleep.
To have spiritual sleep. All right. So Mordecai, why don't you recap a little bit?
Years.
I mean, not to go into detail about the idea that we're talking about with elite sleep and how that connects to the 6 gates of our bodies that we need to work on in order to get to that level.
Right. So simply saying, we spoke in the previous episode about the idea that I can have great sleep. I can also have great dreams. And yes, there's always the level even before that, people that have challenges with sleep or have challenges with dreams. So let's say altogether there are 5 levels, right? Like challenging sleep, then challenging dreams, and then you have, I already have a good sleep, thank you. And then I already have a good sleep and good dreams. But there's the 5th level, which is what we began to speak about last time, the idea that, and this is obviously not for everyone, it's all only for those that really want to experience the beyond of sleep, which is really to gain as much as control as you can gain and to be more in tuned while you are asleep. And when we speak about control, we're speaking about the ability, because of the perception of many people that, when I'm sleeping, there's nothing that I can do. But there's a lot that we can do. And to have an experience of sending messages, receiving messages, doing the spiritual work, receiving enlightenment, solution to problems, and you might experience it here and there. Elite sleep is about using the 6 gates that the force of creation has given us, which are the eyes, the ears, the nose, the mouth, the touch, and we also added the mind, which is mind and heart that are connected. So when you learn how to use those, how to nourish those gates, you get to a place that those gates are used in your night sleep to experience more of what you can receive in that beautiful time. So
Great. Thank you for that recap. And last week we talked about the eyes. So if
right.
anybody's interested in hearing about that, you should go back and listen to that episode on all of our social media platforms. This week we're talking about the ears.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about the ears as a gate, physically and spiritually?
Right. And also one other thing about about any of the gates, that you eventually use one gate or another to bridge between the metaphysical and the physical. So someone is asking for your help, you will use one of them, even if it's like, I want you to pray for me, great. But when you pray for the individual, you either use your mouth or you visualize in your mind on how it looks like. You eventually you're using one of the gates to bridge between the metaphysical and the physical. And when we use it properly, our lives are enhanced. So when it comes to the ears, which is the 2nd gate after the eyes, and notice that we're going from top to bottom, right? Besides the mind, which is a different category. So that the 2nd gate, they seem to be only receiving. If you look, we spoke about the eyes, for example, that the eyes, there is the energy that receives, like what we observe, and there's also the energy that we put into things, into situations, like how we view things, right? And when it comes to the ears, it seems like that the ears are only receiving. But the Zohar, the main text of Kabbalah, and Rav Ashlag, the founder of the center who wrote the commentary to the Zohar, explained in the section called the Idra Zuta, which is a very special section about the departure, the revelation that took place before the departure, the elevation of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, the author of the Zohar. And surprisingly enough, he talks there about ears. And obviously it doesn't speak necessarily only about the physical ears, but the metaphysical structure of the ear. And what is explained there is that the ears are constantly in a giving mode. They're constantly giving to the gate of the mouth, the gate of the nose, and the gate of the eyes. And as I was reading this, surprisingly enough, it was exactly in the timing that I was preparing for this. I happened to come across this section, which I don't even remember reading before, which obviously I did, but it came in the right timing, that really we are continuously, and even if you look at the nose, ear and throat doctor, right? Like it's all connected, right? Elisheva, my wife, always tells me, if you're feeling a little bit like a sore throat, just put like hydrogen peroxide in your ears, it's gonna fix it. Like it's all really connected, right? We already spoke that if the nose is, let's say, which we'll get to the nose, right? But if the nose is congested, so the mouth cannot taste in the same level, right?
Quite honestly, when your nose is congested, you can't hear as well.
Right. It sounds like you're diving, right? You're under the water.
Exactly.
Right? It's like, what's going on? So the nose, the ears are continuously giving energy to the mouth and to the ears, and also to the eyes, which I found quite surprising because logically it doesn't necessarily connect. I mean, like, why would the ears give energy to the eyes? But then I realized that it happens in the animal kingdom, that animals use sound, their hearing, to evaluate a space, like to evaluate distance between one thing and another, not to bump into walls or anything like that. And I understand also that for people that are blind, they can get to use the energy of hearing, right? I mean, did you have any experience like that, like with?
Totally. I was, the other day I took my son to a water park and we were playing in one of the pools, and he said to me, I want to hide, close your eyes and come find me after 10 seconds. And when I opened my eyes, of course, I knew exactly where he was. And he said, how did you know? And I said, because I could hear you. I was actually using my ears as my eyes because I was listening to him splash in the water. So I knew which direction to look, and I knew how to find him, because even though he had gone underwater, I could hear the splashing of it, like he was kicking and splashing, trying to get away. So yeah, I to me, it seems almost obvious. In fact, you and I were talking about it a little bit before, even over a week or two ago, that, the idea that your ears actually feed every internal aspect, right? Your mind, even your touch, like, your ears to me evoke so much memory too, right? Like when you hear music, you hear it, and it all of a sudden it takes you back, mind, body,
brings
and
you back 20 years, 30 years, to your childhood.
Like
right?
It's already
I remember
there.
once in one of the radio shows, the guy said like that music is the soundtrack of our lives.
Yeah.
Right? Like, think about it, right? We only see it in movies, but you can make a list of songs and associate them with different periods in your life or different situations that you're in, Like I have certain melodies, certain songs that just bring me into tears just by listening to them. Another person is like, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
So that's one example. But really, like people say, especially those that are more auditory, right? Like saying, like, I hear you, I
Mm-hmm.
hear what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I know you hear what I'm saying, but what does it mean, right? It's like these are people that are more connected to that gate. Now, what happens is that when you enhance and nourish your hearing, not hearing, your hearing, when you nourish your hearing, you can also nourish your earrings, but when you nourish your hearing, you experience in the night sleep a greater opening channel to receive messages in an auditory way, to receive instructions on how to resolve a certain issue, to receive a message. And I know a few people that this is their main channel of receiving guidance and messages through dreams. So usually when we think about a dream, we might associate it with a scenery, right? Like a picture.
Right.
But you'll be surprised to know that there are many dreams, definitely many more than what we might think, many dreams that are purely auditory.
It's one of the thoughts that came into my mind when you were talking about that is to ask, is an auditory message that you have in a dream more direct than, say, a visual one? So, for example, if you're seeing something in a dream, okay, like let's say I see an elephant, right? And I see it, and that elephant is a symbol. And then the symbol has to be interpreted, and you have to put the pieces together. But if you hear something in a dream, is it more direct and easy to interpret, or is it still kind of
It's a
mixed in?
very good question. The answer is divided to two parts. If it's something that you heard of someone saying to you something, an individual, a human being, that's more direct than many of the dreams that you see.
Okay.
However, if you hear a sound of, let's say, an instrument, an animal, that requires more interpretation.
Got it.
But yes, obviously, there's also in the category of the vision, there is like the message that is very clear, right? But when you come to the category of dreams that you literally hear,
Mm-hmm.
when it's someone that you're hearing from someone or an entity, let's say an angel, or you hear in the force of creation, or it's in so many times, the majority, it's a prophetic dream.
So we have
Very special.
so that's why this is another aspect of elite sleep, because if you're protecting and nourishing the gate of your ears, then again you're allowing yourself the opportunity to have more prophetic dreams, right? And
Right,
dreams of providence.
right. And even during the day, by you saying to yourself that you can hear, let's say a positive mantra, um, repeat something that is like reinforcing for you, speak your belief systems so you can hear them.
Mm-hmm.
That causes the ears to be nourished, and you see, or you might hear the effect when you go to sleep. And it's something that usually, I would say more people are more inclined to, they associate dreams with a vision, and you might find out, and I'm saying it to many of our viewers, maybe to all of you, you might find out that actually, hearing a message in a dream is much more powerful for you specifically
Mm.
than seeing it in a dream.
Yeah, that's what came to mind and why I asked the question. I was just, it's like it seems that hearing something is almost harder in a dream than watching something happen, you
And
know?
it's also another interesting thing is that some people prefer, let's say, to watch this show, and some people prefer to listen just to the audio version of the show, which is great, but it shows you more which gate you are more inclined to connect with.
Got it. So I have a question that might kind of sound negative, but the ears are the kind of the gateway for one of the, at least in spirituality, most negative thing that you can do is, besides speaking negative things, hearing things. And I wondered if there was any difference or specific thing that you could share with us about the fact that, like, what if you're standing around and you hear somebody say a negative thing about somebody else, or they're gossiping, which we know in spiritual practices around the world, not just Kabbalah, but in every
Yeah,
modality, that carries a negative toll with it, right? What
right.
happens, and how do you protect yourself in that respect?
Well, first of all, it's a great question. It's really to get the understanding that we don't even have to go that further. There's even noises. Forget about speech, right? Even noises like the scratchy noises, like nails on the
Ugh,
board,
you
right?
just gave me the chills.
Right?
You just said
It
it, and
gives
I
you
didn't
the
have to
chills.
hear
Even
it.
you haven't even right.
I was like,
Why?
oh,
Because
I hate that.
our soul is so much more sensitive than we perceive. And the reality is, the Kabbalists teach is that if we listen to gossip, or if we listen to evil speech, whether it's true or not, the rumor, or
Mhm.
it's really stays in the system, and it also affects your sleep and dreams afterwards,
Mm.
especially in the night after, because the individual has used the ears in a way that that's not why the force of the creation has given us the ears. It was to hear beautiful things and good news, and to hear great music that inspires us, and to listen ourselves or listen to other people talk about spirituality and enlightenment and receiving. It's another platform to receive divine insights.
Right.
You can listen to a class, and so what do you do to avoid it? One of the things is, instead of fighting the darkness, be busy with revealing more light. So you want to be busy more with nourishing rather than fighting,
Right.
whatever, you're going to a social gathering, you're going to a conversation, and some people have the hobby because they don't feel they have anything else to talk about, maybe feeling it gives them a relief to
Mhm.
speak about others than to be busy with the intensity of their life. So it gives them, rather than a comic relief, like a drama relief, right? Even listening to the news, it's something that when was the last time we opened the news channel? It was just one good news after the other, right? It's not right now. It's not a reality yet. Hopefully, very soon. But right now, we're living in a reality that it's essential to make sure you nourish that gate. And I would say also, like the very special song, Say a Little Pray for Me, right? You can start your day by saying a little prayer to the force of creation, having a request. I want you to support me in guarding my ears today. I know I'm going to this meeting, and this individual has the tendency to speak about others in a way that doesn't feel pleasant to me. So I just want to gravitate towards conversations and people that it's genuinely positive nourishment for my ears. And you can also do this prayer also for your eyes or any other gate.
Well, to recap it, I really love the idea of two things. One is that don't beat yourself up. Like we talked about last week with the eyes, you're going to go out into the world and things, you're going to see and hear things that it's not like you're intentionally maybe seeking it, right? So if it
Right.
happens, know that it's not to dwell in it, but to try and find ways to connect more with the light and with positive, positive things so that you can
Yes.
reveal that light. So that's the first thing that I think is a really positive note, but also that when you know you're going into situations, right? Okay, so for example, if you love movies and you know that you're going to see a drama that's rated R that's going to have, let's say, foul language in it, like you can, in your mind, you can kind of pre-frame it for yourself and say, okay, it's part of the movie and I love movies and I'm going to
Well,
diminish.
let's say, you're watching even stand-up comedy, right? You
Yeah,
know that there are
exactly.
certain comedians that they're clean. I'm not going to promote any of them because I have a percentage I'm invested in this industry. And there are people that, it's like one sentence after another, like language that is not pleasant necessarily for the soul.
Right. So you can be proactive about it is the point, and you can, like you said, say a prayer or
And
meditation.
things happen, sometimes you get into a conversation and things happen and you hear something. Okay, so be busy with nourishing, right? It reminds me actually a very special Kabbalistic story about one of the Kabbalists of Nachman of Ardanka. He was a student of the great Baal Shem Tov, and Rav Nachman of Ardanka was known to be a very humble person. And once the Baal Shem Tov said to his students, I want to demonstrate to you how humble is Rav Nachman of Ardanka. So they all sat together in the table, and the Baal Shem Tov started to give compliments to Rav Nachman of Ardanka. And Rav Nachman of Ardanka just saw the lips of the Baal Shem Tov move, and he couldn't hear what the Baal Shem Tov is saying. And then afterwards, the Baal Shem Tov began to speak about something else, and he heard it again. And it went again and again and again and again. And at the end, Rav Nachman Odanska is asking the Baal Shem Tov, I don't know, something is wrong with my ear, with my hearing, that I couldn't hear you at certain parts. And the Baal Shem Tov said, no worries, it wasn't something that is really important. But the Baal Shem Tov said to the students, look how humble it is that they reach a level that the gate of the ears is already protecting him from receiving something that might go to his ego. So we can even reach a level that our system, including the gates of the ears, are already mastered, that we don't even get to a conversation that we're trying to get out of later on.
Well, I think that the moral of this whole episode is that the ears are far more powerful than we even think. We can, it evokes, it's connected to every other part of our gates. It evokes great memories. Music makes you dance. Like it can put
certain sounds can relax you.
Exactly.
Like boom, in a second. Even the difference between listening and hearing, right? Like when you listen to someone, but really listen, not just hear them. I remember my teacher, Rav Berg, would say, why do we have two ears? So we will hear it from one ear and it will go throughout the other, right? That's most of the people, most of the time. But when you really listen, you're actually sharing with your ears.
Exactly. And the deep connection between this gate and our sleep and dreams is something that I guess I didn't understand until now, and how much that you can open up that channel for yourself, especially in your dreams, if you're protecting
Right.
this gate, which
And
is really,
because it's less obvious than the
yeah,
eyes, it's more
more
powerful.
powerful. Exactly. Once again, Mordechay, I really appreciate all that you're sharing with us, because it
Hitting
definitely,
the right nails.
it really does. And when you hear it and you think it's simple, not easy, but it's like the connections start to fall. So I really appreciate that. And we have more to come in the upcoming weeks when we talk about the other gates.
Yeah.
But for now, let's get to the language of dreams and the sleep symbol of the week, which I bet I know what it is.
Let's get it started. Okay. So the ears, these are the symbol of they are the symbol of this week. An ear in Hebrew, it's called ozen, which is coming from the word izun, which is balance. It's very interesting, right? Because even people who had vertigo, it's a loss of balance
Comes from the
in the
ears.
ears.
Yeah.
Right? So the ears are in charge on the energy of balance.
Yeah.
So when you, let's say someone has a dream that the ears represent balance. So when someone has a dream that the ears are hurting, so it can be a loss of balance in terms of a legal way, that even the legal matters can be represented by the scales, right? Like something is being weighed on the scales. So it can be a warning sign about a legal matter that really needs to be resolved. Or when someone is dreaming that they are sick in both ears, so it can indicate that there is an imbalance or that comes in a financial way, but in a positive way. It's like getting your attention that the individual is about to receive a very nice inheritance. Now, if the ears are hurting in the dream and the individual is sick in the ears, it means the inheritance will come, but it might come with a legal procedure.
Okay.
Yeah, so someone that dreams that they, let's say, lose an ear, so that means they lose the balance and they lose the energy of being able to draw the flow of energy from the upper worlds to the physical reality. In fact, when someone says, "Oh, you must be lucky," lucky comes from the word in Hebrew mazal, which is flowing. The energy is flowing. So when someone sees like the ear being lost, the balance is lost, and therefore the energy of being able to be more connected to the flow of the energy, the positive energy, the physical reality is being disturbed. And another classic one is that if you dreaming that you washing your ears, that means you're about to receive like good news. So like you
Okay.
cleansing the gates.
So
Yeah,
the only
like
question,
you are rebalancing yourself.
so I just want to make clear, because the last one that you said, when somebody is like, when you've lost an ear or like your ear is cut off in a
In the
dream,
dream.
good luck.
No, it means that
Bad luck.
there's a blockage in the flow, being
Okay.
in the flow, being
Okay.
like there's lack of balance in being in the flow, being in
Okay.
tuned.
So it doesn't mean, it just means you're out of balance someplace and you need to fix it.
Energetically, yeah.
Okay.
In one area or another, it depends what happened in the dream, but yeah.
Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure, because it sounded for a minute that it was lucky, and I just wanted to make sure it was clear for everybody.
Yeah, it's not being about being lucky, yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, so when you're washing your ears, that's better, or when you're sick in your ears,
Yeah.
that's better.
You
But
want
when
to dream
one
about
gets cut
washing
off,
your
it's
ears?
not so good.
Yeah. Or that your ears are sick. I mean, to get a nice amount of money, hopefully not from an inheritance, Like some people would prefer to have the money in other ways,
Yes, for sure.
right? So, but
All
whatever the universe wants to give to the individual. So,
All right. And something to sleep on this week?
we thought about very simple, very strong, very powerful. Nourish the gate of your hearing through the ears, which is also a favorite song or songs or a playlist that you can create of songs that really make you feel good and happy and appreciative. Positive message, maybe even make a list of mantras for yourself. Like I'm starting my day, my intention is to have lots of fun and reveal the greatest light. And say it so your ears can hear it. Even I would say listen to a Kabbalah class by the Kabbalah Center. Listen to a class about spirituality. Anything that, even going to the beach, going somewhere to nature, and even listening to the sounds of the nature, or buy yourself a noise machine that you can use, or just listen to stuff, not hear, listen to stuff that is nourishing the ears.
And your soul on top of that.
Of course, this is just the gate. Powerful gate, but it's the gate.
All right, Mordechay, thank you so much for all of this insight. We truly appreciate it. If you are fascinated and are interested and are practicing the art of spiritual sleep, we certainly encourage you to share it with your friends and family so that every person in this world has the opportunity to learn how to sleep better and to dream better. You can find us and all of the information that we share, Something to Sleep On and the Language of Dreams, on our social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at The Art of Spiritual Sleep. So we encourage you to visit there, subscribe, share. And also, if you have questions, please feel free to comment on any of those platforms. We do check during the week, and we are so happy to give you insight or clarify something that you've heard in one of these episodes. If you are interested in a dream interpretation with Mordechay, you can email him. You can email him at dreams@kabbalah.com. And if you're interested in having a one-on-one session with Mordechay to elevate your sleep and dreams, or if you're having a challenge sleeping or want some help in bettering your sleep, you can reach out to Mordechay at Art of Spiritual Sleep at Kabbalah.com. Mordechay.
Remember, email us only if you can handle the beautiful energy that is about to come your way.
I hope that everybody can, after at least hearing some of these episodes. All right. We thank you so much for joining us again. And Mordechay, have a wonderful, sleep-filled, amazing week. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you for watching. And have a good night.